content.
Attention, movie fans and out-of-work blue-collar comedians.
They took our...
Welcome to Big Dumb Content. I'm Andrew, and today the Cavalry and I are invading the sovereign cinematic nation known as Delta Farce. Joining me as always are my First Lieutenant RAFA, Eddie Soldier, and of course, can't forget Private Officer Colonel Sergeant Dr. Cary.
Huh! Thank you, sir! Watch the knockers, sir! Yes, sir!
At ease as well, too. Alright, Lieutenant Rafa, would you give us a summary of this movie today, or are you not feeling up to it?
No, I got this. Yeah, no problem. Easy. You ready?
Ready.
You guys ready? All right, let's get into this. Delta Farce.
Son of a bitch! I want to kill those miserable piss ass!
Starring and featuring
Okay, fellas, this is a very interesting movie. Before we get into first impressions, I just want to say this. I want to give my first impression. If you like this movie,
You might be a redneck.
if you like this movie, cute.
I think we offended somebody out here.
Oh.
and Cary, what do you have to say about this movie?
You like this movie? You're probably me, because this movie... I can't do it, you guys. Guys, I love the movies. I always love the movies.
Let's all go to the...
I don't love this movie.
Thank God.
Ain't no love for this movie today.
This movie's a big fat why. Why? Why? Someone tell me. Someone needs to answer for this. These are war crimes here.
We committed an act of war inside a sovereign nation.
I'm just sad. This movie has defeated me. I before have been day broken, but I have
True.
never been defeated.
Defeat.
I
lost.
Damn.
It's a sad day in America. It's a sad day in Big Dumb Content, frankly.
Across the Commonwealth and around the world.
This is, for all intents and purposes, I think, our first propaganda movie. Discuss.
It feels almost like we're trying to review Birth of a Nation. Like, there's just this really...
More tacos and cervezas for you.
You see, if we leave now, the terrorists win.
blatant undertone. It's an overtone of racism, American exceptionalism, and general jingoism.
We're here to liberate your people. We bring gifts of freedom and democracy. Oh, sorry about your donkeys.
Where it is just gross. The premise, the entire plot of the movie is a stereotype joke. You know, 3 rednecks walk into a Mexico. Like, this movie should have been a Mad TV sketch that bombed. You know, in 2003, not a Lionsgate movie in 2007.
The most confusing part to me was it didn't feel like anyone wanted to make the movie, and it has the appearance of a like My First iMovie production, because every scene ends with a joke getting cut off by a wipe going across the screen, and it's like, oh, we're just moving on now. Okay.
What a great way to chase away the breakup blues. Spending a weekend with 2.
Like it has no confidence in itself. They'll say a joke and then quickly get out of there. And
it's
then,
the kind of movie with the record scratch as an actual joke and not like an ironic thing. Like, no, it uses that to try and enhance its jokes.
Spoiler alert, this movie has a mandated gag reel in the credits. If that doesn't tell you something...
That is true. That is true. There is
I don't know what to
a
tell you.
credit gag reel.
If it's not a cartoon, it's not fun to watch.
Larry the Cable Guy is just a cuck. That's his character arc. He's a cuck who goes into war.
It's not your baby.
I don't understand.
I did think that the kiss at the end, there are two kisses. One,
It looked weird, right?
it looked like it was a body double. Like it looked like
She looked visibly uncomfortable doing it.
they cut and then have this like wide of them kissing, and I'm like, is that even Larry the Cable Guy? Like, is the woman actually DJ Qualls just in a wig? Like,
Yeah, DJ Qualls in this movie, classic 90s nerd guy, 2000s nerd guy, who plays a mentally unstable guy who has access to military equipment.
This is the Mark 153 shoulder launch multi-purpose assault weapon.
The first scene he's in was transcending cinema. I was blown away by the amount of strangeness that was immediately thrown at me.
Well, normally I don't gotta pay for it, but life is full of sad stories.
With no clarification, with no explanation. Just, here's the weirdest guy ever put in a movie. Enjoy.
Oh my god.
But then he went way, way too far, and consistently just too far throughout the movie.
All right, assume the position.
To the point where he lost all the goodwill he earned in that one scene.
There's no goodwill with any of these characters, unfortunately. They all should be in therapy.
Larry Hard R Cable Guy is perhaps the worst protagonist in any movie.
Yeah.
Not only is he unlikable, not only is he just downright stupid, but he's not even funny.
So this is it. Iraq. Jewel of the Middle East. Land of the Hammurabis. Iraq. Oh, damn!
Like, the movie is a comedy, and the man cannot deliver a fucking joke.
All right, Ahmed, don't get your Burke in a wad.
There's a lot of willful suspension of disbelief from the characters and the audience, where it's like you're forced upon by the filmmakers, maybe, towards the audience. We're supposed to believe a lot of the things about these people.
We're here to liberate your people.
It's an optical illusion.
Oh, damn! Damn!
This makes something like Airplane look like high art, honestly,
You ever seen a grown man naked?
It really does feel like Homer Simpson, the character, wrote this movie.
Yeah, this is a Simpsons episode at some point, or late 90s one.
I just want to really quick talk about how the beginning of this movie does no plot establishing. It only does character development. You learn about these characters and their everyday lives in no important way.
It's not your baby.
And then all of a sudden, just the next scene, they're at the army.
Why are they there? They don't look like they should be there.
Any number of ways would have worked better than they just show up to the Army Reserves. They're just there now.
Nice shoot. Man. What's next?
They could be domestic terrorists. This movie sets them up so poorly. I really don't know who these men are, especially DJ Qualls' character, Everett.
They're technically just normal terrorists in Mexico.
Tell him, Everett. The U.S. government defines terrorism as the unlawful use of threat, use of force or violence to intimidate or coerce governments or societies, often for ideological or political reasons.
Yeah, you're right. Not to get political, guys, but this is our political episode, our first one.
I mean, it kind of has to be. It's about a bunch of white guys going to Mexico to shoot it up.
but they do the right thing in the end after they
like your average
destroy
spring
some pinatas.
That's the best part, is that after going to Mexico with a bunch of United States military equipment and uniforms, they are then applauded.
Another victory in the war on terror, as the White House today announced the success of Operation Sombrero, with strikes against terror camps located in northern Mexico by U.S. personnel operating with permission from the Mexican government.
Not only by
The Mexican government.
but by the United States government and the people that they were shooting at. Everyone loves them for what they were doing because they're just They're so good. They're just such good guys. They're the Americans, dude. Who
This
doesn't
movie
love
is like a piece of
America?
yellow journalism from the 1800s, honestly.
Not only have you saved us again, but you've given us the miracle of water.
Nice shoes, Never.
I know. You know what they say? An army, toughest job you'll ever love.
I mean,
War breaks out in Mexico. If you saw this movie in theaters, you committed a hate crime. I'm gonna say it right now. We saw this on Peacock for free as an experiment for our show.
if you bought this on DVD, I hope they enlist you.
I want you.
This movie not only insinuates that Mexicans are
Good people. I'm gonna kill you, deviant bastards!
it also insinuates that who can tell the difference between an Iraqi and a Mexican? I mean, they just look the same.
Damn. You know who that is? That's a Butcher Baghdad, buddy. That's Saddam Hussein.
He's an ugly son of a bitch, isn't he?
Kinda looks like that feller works the register down there at the Circle K.
Hey, but that joke, remember? Who farted?
Don't ask, don't tell.
Larry the Cable Guy can't tell the difference between brown people, but he knows what a sovereign nation is. What are they teaching in these schools? What the fuck is going on? Are these men? Are these characters? Are they cartoons?
Hey, I thought he was, man. I thought, I mean, he exaggerates what he knows, but he talks,
This is what I don't understand is if Larry the Cable Guy, the character, is supposed to be satire of a redneck.
Like Cletus, the slack jawed Yoko.
Hey, what's going on this side?
Yeah.
Or is just supposed to be redneck representation. It's very baffling to me.
I'm a country kid, I'm a cow kid, I'm a livestock kid, a horse guy.
Right.
I hang out with people that talk like that.
Right.
Because you watch like Larry the Cable Guy,
Right.
blue collar
Right.
comedy, like it's
Right.
those people.
right,
Everyone's
right,
clapping
right.
along, having a great time, talking about how they hate their wives and yada yada.
50% of all marriages end in divorce.
Right.
But like, is it supposed to be making fun of that? And you're supposed to find like, the truth of it through all that? Or is it just these people want to see that because that's what they believe in? And like, I don't know. It's really gross. It feels gross. And the fact that they don't get any comeuppance for
that's
like
what-
their act of horror.
That's what gets to me, is that it's treated, this situation that they themselves orchestrate is treated in such a way where they are the good guys, where they are the heroes for doing what they've done, which just tells me that the writers of this movie believe in the like they're on their side, right?
Wish I had 1,000 of them just like you, son.
If they thought that these characters were in any way bad, they would have written this movie very differently.
Hey, what the diff?
They would have shown that what they do is bad.
It's a white man's fantasy.
You keep using this word writers, and I
there
find it
writers on
very
this
hard to believe that there was anyone actually writing this movie versus saying, "Oh, stand in front of the camera and you got to say at least 3 of these things so it feels like we're moving somewhere." But other than that, just make a joke about I don't know, brown people or fart or something. Yeah, that'll be fine.
That's not funny.
We got a what the fuck moment, folks.
Here's my what the fuck moment. What flight path? You can name the state. You can name the city.
Shit.
What flight path goes from America over Mexico City on the way to Fallujah, Iraq? Go ahead.
Bro, you never passed through Mexico on the Fallujah?
Also, what pilot at the slightest bump of turbulence immediately goes, "Dump everything"?
Keith David would have been a puddle of blood.
Dump whatever's in the
dump it.
back. Open the back and dump it.
It's American policy to do that if you're in the military.
Happens all the time, bro.
Like you gotta have a plot somehow.
This movie is that exact phrase over and over again. We gotta keep having the plot somehow. This movie is like walking around to a bunch of rooms in the house, and there's like a different thing going on, and you're not sure why. But it just keeps moving that way, you know?
No.
And it's so lazy and it's so cringeworthy, and just watching it just makes you feel uncomfortable and hate yourself, honestly.
It really does.
I hate myself.
But then I started thinking about it. I'm like, this is kind of a horror movie.
We're in Iraq. We're in Iraq.
Because you do have these guys with guns landing on this random town and then starting to shoot it up. Like, you recast this, you like shift the tone and make it a Western.
This is like those guys who tried to invade Venezuela. It was like 5 guys.
Add some vignetting and change the color grading, and you got a totally different
You got a fucking
movie
Oliver
on your
Stone movie on
hands.
your hands.
From Oliver Stone.
If you start from the those people's the people who live in the village, like their perspective.
Oh yeah.
Like,
horror movie.
This
yeah.
movie is horrifying. This movie
It's
is
Donald Trump's dream of, you know, invading Mexico.
They're not sending their
Tacos?
At the same time, if you take the concept of the movie and kind of switch it around, maybe recast, I don't know, George Clooney, Casey Affleck, and Michael Cera in these roles, like, and then you really make the story about these guys running away from their problems back home, and they ended up in this town where you cut out the attack that they do.
Cut out all the racism.
Yeah, all the racism. You just
willful
make
ignorance.
It's
Yeah.
these 3
I
guys
hear ya.
trying to run away from their problems, and then they get like, you know, wrapped up in these evil crime lords that are trying to punish these townspeople.
Carlos Santana.
The singer? Definitely not the singer.
I hear you.
And they're like, you know, you make it Magnificent Seven, right? And it's these 3 guys just trying to help these people out.
More like Ridiculous 6.
Oh, dang.
More like 3 Kings. Not really. This movie's like 3 Cucks. Hey!
Oh!
David O. Russell, we know you're an asshole, so...
Would you watch
This
a Three
movie-
Amigos remake with Amigos?
Yeah.
3 Amigos.
Whoa.
This movie, you know, 3 Amigos compared to this, you know, it's going to be like a masterpiece, you know, an unproblematic masterpiece of, you know, goodwill humanity.
Yes, we are.
Why is it that the villain of this movie has the most progressive views? And that's played for laughs.
Here's your sign.
It just seems odd that a man of your stature would embrace alternative lifestyles amongst his men.
You can't fire someone because they're gay. That's discrimination.
Here's your sign.
Here's your sign that you're a bigot.
What an awful racist movie. Christ almighty. Hey, wake up, America. BigDumbContent. We're trying to be anti-racist here, and you keep making these horribly racist movies.
Big tough scene when they happen upon those 2 guys. One of them's they're just like walking a donkey, and they open fire. You think one of them gets hit. Like, you thought like they just straight up murdered these people.
These guys go looking for trouble, and that's the problem. That a movie like this can't work like that. The trouble has to come to them first.
What we need to do is find out whether they're turds or shitheads.
Trouble has to come to them like Jeff Dunham's appearance in this movie, where he is rightfully held against his will.
Great, as he should be.
For
Fuck
being
you, Jeff.
a racist piece of shit. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
It's
That was
just
the best part for me.
desserts. That's the only bit of Just Desserts is like him doing his bit in front of a group of.
It's the only catharsis
Mexican
in the whole
people.
movie.
I was aiming for the amazing Ken.
That works for me.
He's held prisoner by the Mexican cartel.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, this movie casually talks about getting war brides in a way that's positive.
War bride.
Yeah,
Like, they're like, it's a good thing.
yeah.
My granddaddy had a war bride.
My Uncle Charlie came home from Korea with me. Well, Aunt Rose was pissed. It's the right of every American flag man to take a wife in a combat zone.
And I'm gonna get a war bride. It's a funny thing. It's not a funny thing. Fuck yourself, Delta Farce.
Yeah.
Yes.
The movie thinks it's just so funny to emasculate a man.
I was raised.
Still you deviant bastards!
And make him gay, or make him seem gay or feminine. Like that's
put him in the army, I guess.
That, in terms of the hierarchy of this movie's jokes, that's like this movie's idea of S tier comedy, where it's like, oh, making fun of gay dudes, hilarious.
That's not funny.
Relax, sweetheart. I did not know this was a gay bar.
I think it's one of those things, like, if you compare this movie to something like Team America World Police, right?
Yeah.
Like, Team America World Police is a well-made satire that's about, like, what America thinks of itself and what it actually is. Like, how our actions affect other nations and how we see that as, yeah, we did the right thing for freedom.
It does what this movie is doing in that vein very well, whereas this is Delta Farce.
This movie was executed just like our invasion of the Middle East in the early 2000s. Sloppily, poorly, racistly.
Do you think maybe this is like a perfect analogy?
It might be. We're not going to dig any deeper because we don't do that here.
I do. Nah, sorry, I do not.
Big tough. Big tough. I don't even really remember how this movie ends. I can't even.
I do.
Not only have you saved us again, but you've given us the miracle of water.
They save the day. That's it.
So basically, they have the option of leaving Mexico, but Larry the Cable Guy, being the noble, selfless hero he is, decides, no.
I got other plans.
I am going to stay in this foreign nation that I have no right being in with my, like, makeshift militia, and we are going to save the day. We are going to take out this cartel. We are going to brute force our way through this sovereign nation, and we are going to reclaim what is truly America's. I mean, what is truly Mexico's.
Speaking of Spanish and Mexican culture, of course, there's a luchador sequence in this movie because,
of course,
Mexico, and of course, DJ Qualls, whoever choreographed him, took some lessons from Steven Seagal's like martial arts in Russia. It's fucking low energy.
Of course, the emaciated white guy who can't throw a punch to save his life easily defeats the local trained luchador because American exceptionalism.
Nacho Libre was a better representation of luchador culture, you know.
It was stinky.
It really,
Christ.
the movie says so many things without saying it.
How dumb can you be in Hollywood?
Like, tell me you're a racist without telling me you're racist.
Lionsgate, you have some questionable material in your catalog.
It really felt like I was watching Spike TV. Did anyone else feel that? Like
if you like this movie, you'd love Spike TV from 2005.
The Man Show just ended, and this just came on, and your dad's like asleep on the couch, and you're like, should I change the channel? But if you do, he might wake up. So you're like, I guess I'll just watch it. Don't get me wrong. There are hundreds of movies more offensive than this just for one reason or another.
These are the 80s, man. It's the Cosby decade.
For Mark Watson, all it took was a little soul.
But this is so ignorant, so blatantly jingoistic, and it is inherently propaganda that I truly feel it is like a negative thing. It's a bad thing that exists. Like, we as a people are worse off for this movie existing. I don't know how. I don't have the numbers or the research to prove it, but I truly believe that.
Why'd you go there, Larry? You should have known better. Come on. Bill?
Like, it's kind of like your old grandpa just rambling at the dinner table, and you're like, do we stop him? Does he just need to get through this episode? Like, what?
You said it, Carrie. This movie is like listening to your racist uncle or grandpa say a racist joke.
Control into the depths of depression and failure.
You just have to be there and listen to your racist grandpa or uncle ramble and just keep saying awful things, and you're kind of trapped in the kitchen drinking your beer and just listening to this guy ramble on. You kind of want to kick him in the nuts or something.
It's so cool to finally meet you.
I'm really sorry, son, but I don't speak Japanese.
But you can't because he's family. It's fucking weird.
I did, as a lark, decided to search if there actually was a Blu-ray of Delta Farce.
Oh no!
This movie has 5 stars.
On what?
On Amazon.
Because it has like a 5% on Rotten Tomatoes.
But there's like 681 global ratings. 77% of that are 5-star reviews.
5% out of 100 people. 5 out of 100. Okay. But you're telling me this has 5 stars out of 100?
5 star. No. Out of 5.
No, Carrie, stop lying to me with your mouth.
Barry T says it's stupid, dorky, and a laugh riot. Don't expect highbrow Broadway theater here, but if silly, sometimes clever, and outrageously funny is what you're looking for, this one nails it. In many ways, it's a modern-day rewrite of The Three Amigos, and while the cast may not be as famous, I find it just as funny. I've even watched it twice in one day. So there, it's not a must-see, but it's a great laugh party. This guy watched it twice in one day.
Hey, that guy should go f himself.
He just outed himself in a major way. Okay, the government has him on a watch list of the top 10 most patriotic people.
Bad.
It's a bad movie made by bad people for bad people. If you like this movie, I think you're a bad person. Not really. I just don't like this movie. And if you like this movie, I have the feeling you don't like me, if you get what I'm saying. It's because I'm Puerto Rican.
I'm gonna follow that up. I'm gonna channel Siskel and Ebert with my final review of this movie. You know, they always gave a thumb up, thumb down, and I'm giving this 2 big middle fingers right to this movie because this is just a piece of shit. It's garbage. It shouldn't exist. Peacock, I don't know why you're, I guess, paying money to post this. Like, Peacock, what the fuck?
You can suck my pee, bitch.
Get rid of this movie on your servers. You won't regret it.
NBC, you allowed us to watch this movie. No one should be allowed to watch this movie.
This movie should be dug underground in a hole, buried and forgotten about. This movie should be incinerated. I don't believe in book burning. I believe in Delta Farce burning. Fuck Larry the Cable Guy. Fuck Bill Engvall. Fuck DJ Qual. Fuck everyone involved in this movie except Danny Trejo and Keith David. They are great individuals who I give many, many props to.
Your tacos are too expensive, Danny, but you're cool.
That is so good.
Machete.
What do we watch next?
Oh, man. I am going to burn my retinas out so I never have to see anything ever again.
Hey, if you made it to the end of this video, leave a comment. What should we watch next? Just leave a comment there.
Delta Farce, guys? More like Delta Farts.